All right, now let's take it back. This is something that we've asked, I think, everybody that we've done the interview with. To go back to the moment when you decided that Marco Tempest was going to be a professional magician, that your primary source of income is going to be off your art. Number one, how old were you, and what was going through your mind at the time? What were the fears? What were the goals?
Well, I was kind of fortunate in that regards. I was doing magic when I was really young. I was in this children's circus, it was called, in Switzerland when I was like 12 years old. And we would tour at summer vacations through Switzerland, and we would rehearse and practice every weekend and every afternoon, which was free of school, to create these shows. And I very early got a lot of side gigs out of that gig where people would know me. Switzerland is a very small country. People would know me from these gigs and would book me for birthday parties and weddings and fundraisers and all sorts of things when I was like 12, 13, 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
So I always kind of had a little bit of income from magic. And for me, it was really hard to find, what kind of job education would I want to have. It was more like the opposite was hard to try to do anything else than magic. And my parents or my grandparents, which I grew up with at that time, they were just very, very supportive. And they gave me that space when I was like 16, 18 years old, where I was not really sure to explore, to find out if I wanted to be a magician or not. So it kind of, there was a very natural transition and just continuing doing what I did, and so I kind of just smoothly went into it.
Went on into it. Well, you see a lot of people that are, into something very, very young tend to maybe rebel against it as they hit their adolescent years or into their early 20s. Was there ever a moment when you're like, well, I've been doing this magic thing since I was, forever. I want to maybe do something else. Was there ever that moment for you?
I had that, and it lasted just a few months. I was this like young guy, and I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I can do all this, and I can do it much better than everybody else. And magic is really boring, like that kind of
Yeah.
mindset. And then breakdancing came along, and I saw these guys on TV doing these waves through their bodies and walking forward but backward at the same time and sliding and floating. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, that's it. This is the new magic. I want to learn this, and I want to combine it with what I already do. So I was about 18 years old, and I bought a plane ticket to New York City, and I came to New York, and I checked that stuff out on the street and kind of went back to my hotel room and practiced doing like waves through my body and doing like robotic movements and kind of and then incorporated into my magic act. So somehow this like hip hop subculture of the 80s kind of saved my, I don't know, saved my life is probably too much to say, but
It might
but
be a little
saved me
bit,
to
yeah.
magic, kind of brought me back to magic and gave me and opened my horizon. Like after that, I was open for everything. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take dance lessons, and I'm gonna take acting, and I'm gonna, like, put everything into magic, which, it kind of it unlocked it for me. It was like, oh yeah, magic or art in general is about, it's a very personal thing. It's about you doing what you love the most, incorporate whatever you like and what inspires you into your magic, and then it's gonna be good times for you and your audience.
So,
So
so you had to focus on something else before you could focus on magic again with kind of a fresh mind.
yeah, in a way, yeah. And these days, if something fascinates me, I incorporate it into my magic. If it's
Yeah,
something, which is fun, then I want it to be part of my magic. And I
got you.
think that's, and then it's real, then it's natural, then it's you.
Well, you know what I find fascinating? This whole Marco Tempest 2 Electric Boogaloo story that you just told. I think that is worth the price of this podcast alone, which is free, but it's worth
Okay.
worth listening. That is fantastic. No, that is great. So, I mean, do you still keep up with breakdancing? I mean, do you work that into your act as much as you did as you were a kid? How long did that last? I'm fascinated by this.
It's like I got a partner back then, Martin Gauthier, which was at that time he worked at an insurance company as an office clerk, and we worked for about 9 months, and we created this magic routine with a magician who has 4 hands.
Gotcha.
And we practiced. We wanted to go and win FISM. That was like the plan, right? We just aiming high,
Yeah.
and we pretty much almost hitchhiked to Spain from Switzerland, because we didn't have a lot of money back then, and we rented tuxedos, and and we danced on the street to get the money to buy the props, and at FISM they kind of knocked us down because we didn't have proper permission to even compete in the competition. So
Really?
we tried again about a year later at the New York World Cup of Magic, this competition at the New York Magic Symposium. And we won first prize there, and that launched it all. That was like our ticket to shows everywhere in the world on TV, and to do the big variety theaters in Europe, and in Monte Carlo and here and there, and go on Tom Paul Daniels show, and all meet all my heroes. So breakdancing really launched it for me.
That was the key. That was the key. Laying down that piece of cardboard and going for your dreams.
Exactly.
All right. Who's your favorite performer in all of Magic who is not like you at all? The anti-Marco Tempest that you find fascinating.
That's difficult to say. I mean, I guess Johnny Thompson would be pretty much on top of the list. Just because of everything, like his material is so strong. He's such a gentleman, such a great entertainer, such a great all-rounder. He's as pleasant on stage as he's off stage. He's like, it's the whole thing. It's just like, it's the complete package. I mean, that's a guy I really look up to.
That is awesome. That is awesome. All right. Well, we are done with the questions, but this has been one of my favorite episodes so far.
What is it? The second one?
No. We are deep into this. You're actually the second one today. Okay. I don't want to break the illusion, because we'll probably be releasing these a couple weeks apart. But yeah, you are here for a very, very busy day. But you've been awesome, Marco Tempest. You can find, of course, all the information you'd ever want to know at virtualmagician.com, right?
No, it's marcotempest.com.
Marcotempest.com. Right. You are the virtual magician, but marcotempest.com. Well, thank you very, very much for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me.